stuff.
All right, what's going on, you guys?
Trying to figure out how to afford one of those.
Happy Monday here. So we are at the dawn of CPI going into tomorrow at releases at 8:30 a.m. So tonight we're just going to talk about some of our watch lists for going into tomorrow, what we're expecting, and of course, what the hell happened to the market today. So, Zeus, why don't you take it away, man? And if you want to share,
hey, what's up, everybody? So today obviously was pretty ugly if you're a bull. If you're a bear, well, then it was probably a pretty awesome day. So for me, I took a pretty nice haircut on AMD calls that I reluctantly held over the weekend. I normally don't hold options overnight. So, it was just one of those things where it kind of blew up in my face. Halfway expected it, but was hoping on that 100-ish support to hold and bounce. And we saw that it absolutely did not. Wasn't quite the free fall that many people expected once it broke under, but still like bouncing around to that 96, 97 area is, I guess, pretty shocking to me and many others. But it's just one of those things where, thanks for the discount on common shares to add to my long account. So adding cautiously right now to that, kind of just waiting to see how the rest of this week and really this month goes. Didn't do much with Apple today at all. My big deal was selling off my target puts from last week. So once I saw about 35% gain, I sold off 3/4 of my position on target and held the final few remaining for quarter size position. I really think the rest of this week is going to not be great, especially with CPI tomorrow, as Rock alluded to, steal his thunder. But I don't think that, with the move that it had last week, I just don't think it's sustainable at this point with as much fear as there is in the market. So I'm really banking on those $220 puts to be in the money before I actually sell them. And so I've got some time on them. I bought a couple weeks out, so not too stressed about that happening. And we'll see. I'm not eager to jump into anything tomorrow. I got to see what the CPI data number is. I think the White House, we were kind of chatting about this earlier with the extraordinarily inflated warning that they sent out. So to me, hey, are we going to see a double-digit inflation number tomorrow? I don't know. I'm no inflation expert, but I know I'm paying a lot more at Publix for groceries and things like that. So it's ugly out there in the streets, man. So I will be on the lookout for bargain shopping for common shares for my long account, and then very, very cautiously playing options tomorrow. With my favorite obviously being Apple and potentially a few of the other, QQQ and SPY and things like that. So I'm predicting a red week for the rest of the week. I think it'll be very small bounces sideways and then selling off end of day each day for the rest of this week. So.
Wow. Cool. Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
I got that bear outlook. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I will say I don't have any positions on Q right now just because of the volatility, but I hardly even touched Q today. I actually traded twice, but it's really oversold at these levels. And I understand that things can stay oversold, obviously, for an extended period of time. We're not just, and I'm not talking about just the RSI. I'm talking more about stochastics and also the trend cycle that I've been talking about over the weekend. And you can see, if somehow 340 or even 337, as I mentioned over the weekend, if 337 holds, I think we got a shot at bouncing back up to at least fill up some gaps. I know there's gaps created today, the other day, and a couple of days ago. So there's basically 3 gaps to be filled on the Q and NASDAQ at this time. So if I'm looking at this stochastic here, yes, there is. It's obvious in a downtrend. It's not it doesn't look like it's curling quite yet here, but it is nearing bottom here. So I would be extremely cautious if I was a bear right now to continue to hold puts or continue to shorting down the market, because so a couple of things can happen in my mind tomorrow is that the numbers are just as expected, and we could see some type of bounce into the bell tomorrow. And of course, I think eventually it'll come back down, but there could be some good plays tomorrow if the market really takes in the data, or has maybe just priced in altogether the bad data that's already expected. So Jay,
so let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think there's any sort of gamesmanship on behalf of the White House releasing, the tweet that they did, and some of the more prominent FinTwit personalities like running with it about, the White House warning of extraordinarily inflated CPI data tomorrow, and then maybe the number isn't so bad, and so things bounce?
Yeah, I mean that's been happening over the last couple of CPI releases. Jay, remind me, last CPI release on March 12th, what happened?
March 12th. So let me look back. I think we started out with a sell-off, and then like in the afternoon, we leveled out and ended up close to green. If I remember, it was the 12th, right?
Yeah, right here. Or it was right around here before we had a massive rip to the upside, right?
Yeah.
So March 12th, was it March 11th that was released, or somewhere around here? Yes, there was, I think, a couple more days of dip, and then the FOMC came out with the 0.2 or 25 basis points, and the market just friggin' loved it, right?
Yep.
But there's no FOMC meeting this month, is there?
I'm not. I'll double check, but I'm kind of thinking of it this way. I just think that there's no way this lasts very long, the sell off, because it just we have earnings next week. I feel like everyone's going to be ripping to get back in, even if we do sell off at the beginning tomorrow. I feel like any recovery, like I was joking around today about like 315. I'd guess maybe closer to 330, and then maybe the buyers really come in violently around that level. That'd be my guess.
There's no FOMAC until May.
Okay, yeah, I figured. Okay, so there's no FOMC until May. So we have that against the bulls. I mean, I'm just being cautious. Like I know buying puts. If you bought puts at the end of the day, yeah, you banked on it because there was that pretty dramatic drop towards the end of the day. Usually, in the last several sessions, it's been happening just that last 10 to 15 minute dump into the bell. So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, of course, puts would have paid here, but I'm so cautious about buying puts at this point because everything from a technical perspective tells me that things are way overdue for a bounce from these levels. Now, I mentioned that over the weekend that 337 is a dead stop or a dead. It should be a good area to bounce. It's a 0.5 retracement line. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know. I agree with you. It's due for a bounce. Most of the selling's already probably happened. It was at 370 and it's all the way back down to 341 already. I mean, granted, outside of some kind of big event that we're not foreseeing right now, I think it's going to rip again sooner than later.
I think today was kind of pricing that in, maybe shaking out some week hands. But,
yeah, I have a feeling they're going to burn all those premiums and any puts getting bought as late as, this afternoon. And, tomorrow everyone's going to be really bearish when we wake up. Everyone's going to be worried. They're going to flip the switch, send it the other way, and we'll be right back to calls again.
There's a lot of premiums expiring at the end of the week for in-the-money calls and in-the-money puts.
Interesting.
And it's OPEX.
And it's a short week too, so
it's an OPEX week. So they're gonna try to burn both sides. I think they burned the calls today pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking at the what's up?
I was gonna say, is Cam here? We got to make sure before.
I got a
all right.
All right, Zeus. I'll see you later, man.
All right, see you, Zeus. Thanks for popping in. No, we'll have to go over Black Rifle at some point here. I mean, that chart is crazy. Just stumbled on that. I don't want to forget about that today.
Going back in the CPI though, I'm looking at the data projections that they had back in February and then in March. In February, they predicted 7.3, and we came up at 7.5. And that was for January. And then in March, we predicted 7.9, and we came up at 7.9.
Yeah.
And now they're doing 8.4. So looking at China, and they just got what, like 8.4 or 8.5, something like that.
It was definitely not good.
Not good. I'm like feeling confident it's going to be around the same ballpark. I don't even know, like, like maybe they're just like playing around with the numbers to make it project it so it's closer to what they want it to come out to,
Who knows? Who knows the games they play? It's dirty though.
What's the estimate for tomorrow? I forget.
8.4.
Yeah, I think 7.9 was previous.
When did the gas price? The gas price were not lowered in March, right?
No.
No. So that's probably going to be a good one. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, not only do you have CPI, then you have the next day is Wednesday is PPI, correct?
PPI, yep.
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling everybody in the group so far right now, like I sat back like 3/4 of the day and just watched things, and I need to go for right now. We need to go for quality setups, either stuff that's outside, obviously, of tech, if you want to play calls, and I mean, if there's really strong movement on a downside, I'll play puts again, but we got to go for quality setups right now. Not, I don't want to just continue scalping for a few pennies here and there. It just doesn't. Yes, it's good, but then majority.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting, and the guys in the group can't catch up fast enough, and they typically miss out on the plays.
Yeah.
So I mean, I played a few Neo today. I thought that was pretty good. But other than that, there wasn't like I haven't had like a gigantic winner since like last week. So we just I got to keep it clean in terms of the players.
Yeah,
I think that's quality.
For sure. That's the hardest thing to do. That's why like you saw me going off to the uranium stuff today. I was just looking for things to try to find.
That's a good hedge.
My two biggest was puts that I bought Friday, so it wasn't anything that I had set up today. Went into a plug put because we seen some flow in the chat for some wells that bought some plug puts, so I sold that right at the bell because plug actually went up at the bell. I mean, after a little while afterwards, and I ended up selling that off for about 60%, and then had my targets from Friday with Zeus. We went into that very well. I sold mine a little bit earlier. I think I sold mine for 33, and I think Zeus, he was up near 45% for the target put. I take that back. I did have some cost. I mentioned that maybe we would have some 585 for cost. I was going to get it when it hit 610, but I got it when it hit like 608. So it wasn't a big win, but I'm a 20% guy anyway. So give me my 20% and I'll get out.
The Walmart chart looks pretty good on the bear side.
A lot of the consumers are so overextended.
Target,
Walmart, of course, Costco. Goodness gracious, this is a pretty steep. I wasn't even paying attention to Walmart today, but this would have been a nice juicy put.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't pay Walmart either. I should have. Or how's our BJ's doing? I know that's Zeus's favorite, so let's check out BJ's on them.
I'm looking at
BJ's,
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
BJ wholesales or BJ's?
Yeah. Wholesales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think BJ's are going for $1.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All right.
Man, look at that.
I'm looking at a lot of the tech charts today because I just got home, so I'm just looking at a lot of the 5-minute charts, and there's a lot of bullish divergence on a lot of stuff. Like you look at Nvidia, I'm looking at Square, AMD.
Yeah, I did jump into a 105 call for AMD real quick. I scalped that for about 18%.
And someone loaded, I think, what was it, like 2 million or $1 million on the buy side on Q at close today?
Yeah, like I said, right? Someone's expecting a big bounce at something in the next day or so, or tomorrow, right? Like I said, it doesn't take a genius to figure out these charts. We're over
so many gaps
here. And the fear is I don't know. I feel it's like unwarranted, right? We all know inflation is here. Yes, it's going to have an effect on our everyday lives, etc. But I think there's a whole bunch of speculation on recession next year, the yields continuing to rise, and those are things that are just going to continue to add some selling pressure. But there's got to be a bounce somewhere. It's got to, technically speaking, it's got to happen. It should be happening, or else everybody just plays puts, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it seems like we're at this point where everyone knows that things have been dipping for a while, and buyers should come in, but we're just sort of nervous because every single time, no matter how probable it looks, you're still a little bit nervous that they're not going to come in and we're going back to 315. So we'll see. But
yeah, that's the speculation. We're going back all the way down here. That's a big old inverted cup if that happens.
If you miss the first ride on the way up, you can get this time.
I feel like whoever bought the calls and load the Qs, I mean, kind of looks like it's trying to do an inverse head and shoulder on the daily.
Yeah.
Does look like that.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Black Rifle? We got absolutely no news at all, and it's just shooting straight up.
Yeah, this is Cam's play, man. I mean, I'm
first Cam
sold the shares last week. Good Lord.
It's $32, and it was at, let's see, back on, oh my God, I didn't know it went up this much. It was at 16 on March 18th.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a play I wish I got into.
That's for 100% returns right there. Yeah, he told us about it like last week. So I got in at 27. I sold at 29. I mean, that's good enough profit, right?
Yeah,
but I wish I had kept the calls, because the calls are they're up massively. They're May. I was looking at the options chain, and the May 6th, I'm looking at like maybe grabbing some May calls on this, but the May 6th 40 calls are up 100% today.
Wow. And the volume's still there and everything, and it looks like it could keep ripping. And the thing is, it hasn't gone all up in one day. It's just ripping day after day too, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I was saying earlier, this thing could become like a meme status stock. Like,
no one's talking about this stock, which is the interesting thing. Right?
Yeah, people talk about oxygen and like I don't know, Palantir for till they run out of oxygen, but this one rips up from 16 to 32 in a month, and no one talks about it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find it on OPEX. I can't even find it on Ortex. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's got relatively low volume compared to big volume runners, right? I mean, it did have a huge volume back on April 4th. Pretty good, about 2 million volume. No, not 2 million, 8 million volume today. Well, yeah, it's insane. This thing just took off.
Wow.
Oh no, 4 million in volume today. So, and I'm just shocked that no one talks about this.
Yeah.
Man, I totally missed out on this one. This was a good one.
Let's see. Yeah, how's Target looking? All right. So next I really look at, like we were just talking about Target, but boy, look at it. It's at 229 now. That's gonna really come back down. I can't get over this Walmart and Target, the consumers that you're mentioning. Now I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get in those, write the bell tomorrow and write it down.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm mapping out I'm drawing out the supports and resistance on Walmart. I think Walmart should bleed some tomorrow as well. They're obviously they're all overextended. Same thing with Mr. Costco. I just can't believe this thing ran past 600. It was fun while it lasted, though. All right. Okay. So, question for you, fine gentlemen. What do you guys think about Twitter's chart and the whole situation with Elon?
Oh
boy.
Twitter, I don't know. I want to know what the end game is for Elon. And he found out. We didn't find out. He knew that he was limited to 14% ownership. It's interesting that there was some shady stuff that went behind in the filing behind that, and now he doesn't want to be limited, and maybe he wants to own more of Twitter. So some people that was watching CNBC, they were saying maybe he was going to take ownership, and it's crazy. I don't know what his end game is, but I thought I was going to be joining the board. So
yeah, shocking news over the weekend. Twitter, so here's my take, and I think this is pretty sound, right? If you look at his likes in his Twitter profile, pretty much someone wrote that he was pretty much silenced or the board pretty much telling him to like, hey, stop tweeting out all this stuff, right? You're creating chaos, not just for a Twitter team, obviously the employees, but the management, right? They're trying to do their job every day, and Elon's here trying to change policy on Twitter by tweeting, obviously. So I think the board. I mean, if you read between the lines on the note from the CEO, it's pretty obvious what he's saying. At the end, he says, cut out the noise, the distractions. All right. And it's not. I don't think Elon volunteered to say to step down from the board. I think they pushed him out. They said, "Look, you taking on a board spot, the way that you're tweeting out there about the edit button, about getting verified, about accepting Dogecoin for Twitter Blue, that's a business disruption."
Yeah, for sure. I think 100% right with that. And I look at Twitter, and it seems like they just want to push him out, which is kind of a loss for Elon. I mean, he must have his feelings hurt a little bit right now. But we'll see. I wonder if it's good for Twitter in the long run. I mean, I look at Twitter, and it didn't really have that bad of a day at all. I mean, it finished up probably a couple with 2% off a pretty.
It's a lot of FOMO.
Open.
I feel. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is a lot of FOMO. There's something up the sleeve there. Elon doesn't normally look bad at the end of a deal. He usually figures things out. It's one thing, don't doubt him. So there must be something going on. I hope it doesn't end in me saying, wow, how could I miss that? Like when he bought the shares in the first place. Yeah. I didn't even buy them then. But, we'll see what happens. I think you're going to keep a close eye, and then you wonder what's going on even in some of these other names like related to it. Facebook. Back down to 216 again, which I did not think that Facebook would go back down to that level again anytime soon. At least I thought it looked like people had decided Facebook was on the ups because it was back up to 236 on April 5th, and now here we are again. So we'll see. But interesting time for social networks.
At least DWAC is green.
Oh my God, DWAC! I haven't looked at that. What do we got in DWAC today?
I
think it was green yesterday.
5. Yeah, I knew this was a nonsense pump here on the shooting star thing.
Yeah, 45, 15.
This one. This one is going down. Nice bear flag, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Beautiful.
I drew the bear flag like 4 days early, so let me put that down.
My God.
Remember I told you guys about I knew that D-Wag was going to pull the bear flag, but then we played the puts anyway, all the way down. There's your bear flag.
Bounced.
Die.
Perfect.
D-Wag. All right, what do you guys think about Neo today?
Neo, let me take a peek real quick at the chart again, refresh it. But yeah, Neo is strong today, huh? A little bit sold a little bit
That was a great bounce.
Yeah. Big bounce.
It was a lot of the China stocks too, because I actually picked up a Billy call
gap
on Friday. And I actually made pretty good off the Billy call. It was about 65 to 72%.
Yeah.
It's that May 20 $35 strike for Billy that one keeps paying. It'll go down to $1, it'll come back up to $1.80.
Yeah.
It'll go back to $1.20, it'll come back up to $2. But it seemed like, I don't know if I was reading some things about some Chinese stocks today, and I don't know what it was that pumped some of them up, but or maybe it was just Billy and Neo, I don't know, but it was weird when I saw that that it was up $3 today.
Yeah. So, well, all the China stocks got down this pre-market. All of them filled. If you're looking at Baba, PDD, what is it, Alibaba, Baba.
Yeah, if you put in BI, if you put in BILI, you could see the Billy chart is what I was. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I played a $35 call for mid-May.
What happened here? Jeez.
Yeah. So
with these China stocks, so freaking unpredictable. They got the gap down all over the place overnight. But I guess the whole gap down was because Hong Kong and China stocks sold off, obviously in Asia. But
do you want a stat, Rock? I'll give you a stat real quick.
I played a gap fill on this. That worked out well. Yeah, what's up?
More than 90% of Shanghai truck capacity is out of service. There's limited to no accidents at Shanghai port terminals. It's causing shipping containers to pile up, and it's slowing ship transfers. This is according to FreightWave. So just in case you thought the supply chain crisis couldn't get any worse, this hits. So It doesn't inspire confidence in Chinese companies right there or American.
Man,
ones.
they don't need to shut their economy down. I don't understand this.
So you're saying Ader's going to run, right?
What do I think? Yeah,
Oh.
probably.
The short interest actually went up today, it looks like.
Yes, it did, my friends. They're still shorting it on low volume. I mean, that's why I held it throughout the day, knowing that, this was a low volume selling. And obviously the shorts were piling into Ader this morning. All right, charts doesn't look that great from this perspective, but from a daily, we got the volume shelf support here right at 4,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Right under 4. It bounced from the POC line. And I think we're up. I mean, went up to 437 in the after hours, right after the bell. So I think we still got a shot to see this bounce. The HTV is 156%. Short squeeze score of almost 100%. It's due for that pop. So
I'm looking at the Ortex data. It says the return share is only 143,000. They borrowed 1.19 million. Borrow change is just 1.05.
So maybe after hours they're starting to cover, or they're starting to resume shares. Interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Let's hey Rob, let's talk to us about AMRX. I don't have a position yet.
Yeah, so I jumped into this position today, and I got in. It's about a penny lower than when I jumped in. I jumped in at like 442.
Why is that candle so big, Red?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here it is.
All right.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks pretty good. It held today. So they have and Bio could speak on it too, but they PDUFA this estimated April 17th based on a 10-month review period for biosimilar, but it's really called a BS UFA.
Yeah.
But under this is a PDUFA. They have great cash flow. I mean, I might even add. I was talking with Bio. I'll probably add this one. We like the short-term FDA catalyst, but we also I like this long-term too because they have a great cash flow. Goldman Sachs upgraded it. It looked like in August.
Put it in your IRA. Yeah.
Yeah. So right. I mean, I think their live cash is like 402 million right now. So their debt to income equity is good. They're a generic. They also make a lot of generic drugs. They got some stuff coming up for Parkinson's. I mean, you name it. They have a lot of great. They have a great pipeline. So not only is it great for PDUFA and you want to do it short term, but if it rides back down, just like after any PDUFA, people take profits. If you want to add this into your IRA, that'd be fantastic.
I mean, the drug that they're doing is used for cancer, right? So there's really no generic for it. So obviously, whoever's getting treated, they're actually paying for the brand name, which is more expensive. So if this product works just as same as the one that's already approved, it's definitely, there's no way they're not going to approve it if that's the case.
Gotcha.
Right. So the 10-month review period, it looked like it was announcement was made on June 17th of last year. So that's a long review period. I haven't seen any. I don't know if BioDev, maybe if you've found any. I haven't seen anything where they needed updated information or anything like that. Especially during a long review like that, and it hasn't been extended by 3 months like some of the other ones, or extended 6 months or anything. But so it looks like it's still on schedule. So
there's a bunch of insiders that were awarded stocks in like the beginning of March. Most of them have already exercised the options to buy them. So,
yeah, we got a question from the audience. What do you guys think about Shopify Shop?
Let me take a peek at Shop. I haven't taken a peek.
Well, based on your indicator, it's gonna go down. It's a little bit overbought.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, it hit the short signal on 75. Let's take a look at Amazon. Well, I mean, obviously, Shop's going to follow Amazon for the most part, right? But you look at Amazon's here at 30.23. So it looks like that stochastic is starting to turn. So, like I said, right? I mean, you can't keep shorting these stocks. They're due for a bounce. But the good news is that if they're going to bounce from these levels, we're not going to see QQQ at 318 ever again, or not ever again.
Yeah, don't say that.
And that's what I was telling Woof earlier when he asked me about Target, and I was in Target. Now I was messing around with Amazon today. It really liked the 3050, and so I scalped that twice today at the dips, probably right around when it hit about 318, 3018, and then 3022. Rode that back up to like 352, and then I think the other one was only like 340. Of course, I went out a little bit. I didn't like this short week, so I went out to the, what is it, the 22nd? Is that the right? Yeah, I went out to the 22nd date. You know, it wasn't big gains, but it was 20-30%. So I mean, that's what I was trying to do in this market. That's the only thing you couldn't do unless you just sat on your hands today. But I didn't feel like sitting on my hands today. So.
Oh, I didn't know on TradingView you can actually do rockets. Okay, here's
like that.
And there's a little rocket right there. And there's a rocket gap right, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue to short the market because these three gaps are coming to fill.
They're gonna rip you a new one.
Theater near you, my friend.
Jay,
I expect another gap down probably tomorrow too on CPI.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I was intrigued about Jay's take in the chat room about oil, because on Friday, on Thursday I played some Chevron 167.50, and then I was able to scalp some of that, and then I had to sell it quickly today. It really went down. So I didn't know. I mean, I know Jay mentioned in the chat room today about oil. I just didn't know what they thought about maybe Oxy or Chevron or Exxon or overall oil plays in general. And I don't know if it's because we're releasing reserves or what have you, So
yeah, well, the story seems to be the 10-year yields, right? TNX at 2.78 today. I mean, when I woke up this morning, the oil was down $5 or $3-4. I think WTI was down $5 a barrel or something like that. Right? What is going on with this market? Market keeps sliding, and then oil sliding, and then of course the rates are continuing to rise. So that's just going to be the headlines
and the shutdowns too.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, the shutdowns in China. Yeah,
the lack of liquidity is really affecting the volatility though, and that's why we're seeing so many like crazy moves. Especially in Q, like Q doesn't move. What was it like? We moved from 418 to 318 to 340 in like what, 2 days?
Yeah, crazy. Shot right up.
Qs, it went from 318 to 370.
Yeah, how long ago was that? How long was that period?
From March 16th to 2 weeks, March 29th.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad, but
that's a huge, but still a huge.
It's still a huge move for an index fund, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like during this time inflation was no longer the worry or the rates was no longer worry. Those things are still here. It's still pretty volatile in terms of those things that the market is fearful of. But it's just okay. Why are we dipping the way that we are? Given that nothing has much changed since the end of March, unless this is just a technical pullback, people are scared, ran up too fast, too quick, too fast. I can't figure it out, but I still think the bounce is coming.
And it's kind of, like you said, it's going against the trend because usually didn't they say that the April was good for the S&P 500? So
exactly.
So.
There's still a lot of April left, but still, I mean, we would have to see a major rip in the market. S&P 5, SPX generally does very well in April, and that's I think this is just taking everybody back. Like, what the heck is going on?
Your oil play, I just want to make sure. I mean, it's probably a good idea. I mean, obviously, it's going to bounce sometime, but knowing what Biden's going to say tomorrow, they were talking about doing like no oil tax or no gas tax. So I'm not sure if that's what he really means by, reducing your cost. Like, let's
we'll see, but okay, so if anytime Biden speaks or you know what's going to happen. The market's going to dip.
I think there's a couple states that already suspended it too. I can't remember which states. It might be Northeast. It might be up there by Jay.
What state?
But I don't know what state. I don't
Delaware?
I want to say Delaware might be right.
Yeah, because you have the federal tax for your gas and you have the state tax. So depending on what your state tax is, some state taxes might be 32 cents, versus 18 cents in other places, and that's why we pay the difference per gallon. But I know some states were already suspending the state tax. But like you said, if they try to suspend the federal one, that give you some relief.
Yeah,
could help. Any bit helps.
I'm kind of just doodling on my chart here. Remember when we broke out of this bear flag or this bull flag? Sorry, when we topped out at 370, we bottomed out at right about 360 area, and then boom, the next day, all this volume came in, and it was a 10-point swing, almost a 10-point swing for Q on this day on April 4th. And remember, on the next day, we were supposed to, everything looked right for another not all-time high, but we were going to blow past 370s. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was the day that Fed, what's that lady's name?
Daily.
Yellen?
Yeah, Daily, whoever. So she started opening her mouth, or I don't mean to be mean, but she started talking, and the whole fear and panic just went, swept through the market. And we're still feeling the effects of that 5 days later. You know what I mean? So it tells me that, like I said, this selling is overdone. It's purely reactional and on a low volume. So
yeah.
All right, I'll stop talking about
that. And
it's panic selling. It's panic selling. That's all it is.
Yeah, we didn't see it rotating in anything either. I sure didn't see it rotating anything. No. So it's rotational. It's just,
oil's not going up. Commodities are doing okay.
Right.
They're not like super crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we could say some of that money did rotate into consumers, right?
Yeah.
He's right about this time. So Costco was doing kind of this, pullback or bull flagging from this and it just because of what she said, I guess, like all of a sudden everybody just put money into Costco, Walmart, Target, BJ's, whatever. And now that these things are selling off, but the tech is still pulling back. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the play of the week, in my opinion. I think getting into puts maybe on those names, I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. So anyway, PDUFA on AMRX. Sorry, we changed the subject on you, Rob. This Sunday. All right. So that's anything else you guys want to talk about? We can go ahead and jump off here.
The other PDUFA I want to keep in mind is going to be INCY.
Yep.
That one's going to be for April. Things kind of run up a little bit, but one of the biggest biotech investors, like the hedge fund, they're called Baker Bros. They actually bought like $286 million worth of shares over the last 2 months, starting like mid-February, and they have a PDUFA coming up at the end of April, like April 29th.
Yeah,
sounds like a good one.
That's a lot of money to put into that stock, and when they have a very high conviction. They did it with Moderna. I forgot the other one. They have like a couple of high conviction plays, and I mean, for them to buy 286 million worth of shares,
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
Well, this is a 7-year consolidation.
Wow.
Dating back to 2015, this thing's been consolidating between 60 and 120 almost. But anyway, this is a long time to just sit around waiting for money to come. Eventually it's got it. Well, if you look at the monthly chart, this just been sitting around these levels for a long time.
Wow.
Waiting for a breakout.
If they get a PDUFA, it can break out.
We shall see.
Yeah. All right, cool. That's a good one. All right. What else, guys? One more and then we're done.
What do you think? What do you think, with everything considered, for next week? I think next week's Tesla earnings, correct? Is it 420? But what do you think will happen with Tesla? Is this a time to get in, or do you think it'll be any indications? Like, what are we looking at with EVs heading for? It's kind of a loaded question, actually. I just realized, but
well, definitely for sure. Oh wow, there's a gap up now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that an inverted hammer? I can't tell.
All right. So April 20th is next Wednesday. Okay. So obviously the market's still in fear mode, right? It's going to sell Tesla off. But like I said earlier, things are going to bounce. If you look at Tesla from this trend cycle here, the last bounce from this area of 750 or 780 or so right down here, it flipped it right on the 25 cycle line. So and then it did a moonshot. All right, so you can see that the pattern literally is a double bottom here.
Wow. Yeah.
So on the stochastic, yeah, a little bit more room on the downside to go. You could see a situation where it does go into the oversold territory, but don't be. I would not be a bear on Tesla right now because this pullback is simply from the big run up that it's had. They have earnings coming up. They're delivering record number of vehicles. I find it hard to short this thing down after, let's just say the critical support, obviously going into tomorrow, you're looking at moving average 50. And we're already below that right now, as of right now, actually. So it's already breaking below moving average 50 on the daily chart. So moving average 200, 884, around that area. We'll see.
Interesting. All right, cool. Just wondering about that. That's pretty much all I got for this podcast, I think.
Yeah. Cool. All right, good. Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you guys for your time this afternoon. Appreciate you guys. If you guys want to, hear more podcasts down the road, please subscribe to our channels. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. Are we on Apple yet?
Yeah, we should be on Apple by now.
Okay, we should be on Apple by now. So that's awesome. Thanks for your work, Jay, and appreciate all the panelists or speakers today. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, have a good one.
All right, Deb. All right, Rob.